welcome all you lovers of Hebrew language and the Bible. How you doing?
Good.
Good evening. We got with us tonight. I guess I'll throw names up there. I didn't. It's not showing. We got Colton on my right.
Hello.
James underneath me. Got Elena down in the corner. How do we catty corner? That's how we always said it when I was growing up.
Yeah,
Is what you say, catty corner?
that's what I say.
James, we don't want to see any accidents over there. You be careful.
We have an echo.
Yeah, Henry should be joining us in a minute too. He's trying to work out his microphone setup. Welcome everybody out there in live chat land as well, and you who are watching from afar. This covenant is made with you as well. That's from Deuteronomy. Not only those who are here with us today. Anyway, we are picking up where we left off, and we are in the middle of David's story, getting him set up with a wife, something that's missing from his life. So let's get into David's. Let's see. Henry says, still not sure if his microphone's working. Just jump in, and we'll see. All right, so I'm going to throw it up on the screen.
Did you see Adel is here too?
Adel, I don't see. Oh, it's way down there. Oh, my goodness. So I wish that they would make it so it's all in one line.
How could you possibly miss Adele? How could you possibly miss that?
I know. What's up? So we are today starting in verse 11. We let off in verse 10 last week. I will remind you again that at the top of the screen, this is what Hebrew used to look like. So if you're interested in learning the old letters of Hebrew, we have examples of them in archaeology. Then we could go over that sometime if you're interested. All right. So our first slide, not the end of the slide, is this one. תודה רבה לכל חברינו וחברותינו. All of our friends, male and female, thank you all for being our members on patreon.com. We've got many of our members are here with us already. Is Moel in the chat yet? He's always here with us. Kellen is with us in Discord, and he's here with us now. We are in 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 11. This is a reminder real quick of our times. Monday, which is today. Monday, which is today. We're going to do 5 o'clock right now for reading in Hebrew, 6 o'clock for our show coverage, and 7 o'clock for Patreon members for Hebrew communication. On Thursday, we're going to get, again, at 6:30, hit up our homework coverage. We did that for the first time this week, and I thought it was a good success. Okay. We are again reminding you in chapter 18 of 1 Samuel, we're looking at Saul's jealousy of King David and at David's marriage to Michal. Michal is King Saul's daughter. Okay, one verb I want to take a look at real quick before we get into the reading, because it really is the first word in our reading today, is the verb lehatil. Lehatil. We render this as coming from tet vav lamed. This is the root in the binyan hifil. Okay. In modern Hebrew, we have both the root tet vav lamed and the root nun tet lamed, both meaning the same thing. So the difference would be that in all of these forms, there would be a dagesh in the tet because the nun would assimilate. But most of the forms are the same. They would still say hetil or hitil in this case. But we're going to look at the forms real quick. This is the past tense, the katal, right? We say past tense because it's easy, but really it doesn't have to be past tense. It can be used for other things, especially conditionals. So let's look specifically at these forms. We refer to it as hetil. That's the past tense right here, hetil. The feminine is hetila. Hetil, hetila. What does this mean? To cast or to hurl. This is the verb that's used in the book of Jonah. So most people who who cover the book of Jonah as part of their intermediate Hebrew studies will learn this verb because it says that God hetil ruach gola al hayam. He cast a big wind onto the sea, and that's what caused the storm, right? Hitila. We say today hitalta in the masculine. I'm going up, so we say hitalta for you, hitalta, right? But here it's hatilota. Hatilota. These middle weak forms, because they are shortened, actually take an ot infix when going before many of their endings. So hatilota is like hashivota, you returned, or havinota, you understood. It's the same ota infix. So hatilot, because there's no vowel ending for the second feminine singular. And I did it hatiloti. From there, let's go down, because I went backwards, because we in this case, Hetil really is very easier place to start, a much easier place to start. So let's start at the top, which is the first common singular, hatiloti. Hatiloti. This means I threw, or I cast. Hatilota, you cast, or you threw. Hatilot, you cast, or you threw, to a woman. Hitil, he did it, he cast it. Hitila, she cast it. And then we get to the plural, hatilonu. Okay, that still has that O infix, but now it's the onu, because the nu is the anachnu. Hatilonu, hatilotem, hatiloten, and hitilu. So the shorter form of the root is in the third person. Hitil, hitila, hitilu, and all the other ones have the O infix. All right? The present tense, or the participle, is simply metil, metila, metilin, metilot. Okay, the vowel is reduced whenever the syllable becomes distant. In the future, the ktol, not really future all the time, but basically future. I'm going to mute real quick. Somebody's typing and it's just coming through the, I think it's Elena probably. It's coming through the speakers. Okay, so the future, we're going to say the ktol is atil, tatil, tatili, yatil, tatil. Okay, always the you, like you do it, masculine singular, is the same as she does in the future. Okay, so tatil and tatil are the same form. The we form, anachnu, natil, atem, tatilu, aten, tatelna. Okay, the vowel in the middle of it is a little bit different because of the addition of the last syllable. So instead of tatilna, it's tatelna. Yatil, they will, and hen tatelna, the second and third person in the plural is the same in the future. Okay? All right. And the imperative hatel, do it, throw it, hatel, hatili, what you say to a woman, hatili, it's it. To them, you say, to you, like plural, you say hatilu, and to you, feminine, you say hatelna. The imperative here is always built on the future here. Tatelna, hatelna. Okay, probably forms you haven't seen. All right. At the bottom, I put remarks. Yatil in the future, the ktol, becomes in the vaiktol, which is the narrative past, it's vayatel. Vayatel. Vayatel is the first word we're going to see in the reading today. Okay, so again, I remarked that hatiloti is the same as hitalti. Hitalti. That's how we say it in modern Hebrew. Hitalti, hitalta, v'chadome. Chadome is like the similar cases. So natal is like hatil in the, it's lehatil. That's the infinitive, hatil. Okay, so it can be Hetil or hatil, depends on what root it comes from, but because both roots are used. All right, that's enough of the grammar. Let's get into the reading. If there are any questions, you can feel free to put them in the side chat. And we will go right into the reading. in verse 11. Henry, how you doing out there? You want to try to? Oh, I'm just going to try to add you to the stage and see what happens. You have a microphone, Henry? I guess not. Henry, go out and come back in and see if it helps. And I'll move us down to the bottom, so that we can see the verses with bigger text. How's everybody doing? Was that meaningful to you?
Yeah, I was going to say, Adonai hetil et sa'ar gadol al Yonah
Sa'ar gadol.
vegam ha'choavim hetil et Jonah vagam or bayam.
Okay. So the word is used twice. It's used of God.
Hetilu. They threw
So
him,
it's used of God casting a storm onto the sea, and the sailors casting Jonah into the sea. So we're going to start with Saul casting a spear at David, right? All right, so who wants to read the first verse?
I'll read it, but James casually slipping into Greek when he said to. It's just over the death row and just saying Shtayim. That's all. It's funny. But yeah, I'll read. ויתל שאול את החנית ויאמר הכה בדוד ובקיר. ויסוף דוד מפניו פעמיים.
There's Dugation that hey though it's mipanav.
מפניו.
Yeah,
Sure.
there. All right.
Saul threw the spear and said,
Akeh v'David uvakir.
let me smite David and into the wall.
Maybe not let. Maybe I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Strike David and the wall. Meaning.
Yeah. Well, right. Oh, it's gonna go through him.
Right. I'm with one throw. I'm gonna hit David and I'm gonna hit the wall. It means I'm gonna throw this spear through David into the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. And David turned from him. Turned away from him twice. Or we looked it up, and it frequently evaded him twice.
Yeah, that's all the translations say.
Yeah.
He turned from before him twice. What is twice?
A duel.
Yeah, pa'amayim. Pa'amayim, and once is
Ba'am.
Ba'am. Ba'am is once, and pa'amayim is twice. All right, fantastic. We're on verse 12.
Now, before we move on, if I may, so ויתל שאול את החנית ויאמר הכה David. It means to me he didn't really throw it.
Okay.
David, as if he is a thought process in his mind. It's not like he really throw the chanit. He's thinking about it.
No, it says he threw it.
But it says,
he said when he threw it, like his intention. They're giving you his intention. So he says, I will hit David in the wall, and he threw it. Like he's giving his intention.
Is that how the English translation is? Because when I look at it, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to kind of think about it. When you throw at somebody, you're not going to say, I'm going to throw it at that guy. You can just throw it away. You throw it at him. How is it so through the spear? So here is that old translation seeing that? Like, can I look at
this is NRSV, but that's how you have to read it. He threw the spear, and he said, I'll pin David to the wall.
Okay, that makes sense.
But David eluded him twice.
Okay, good enough. Sorry about that.
Verse 12. I guess Henry is not going to be able to connect. That is frustrating. It's been so long since we've seen him. But somebody does have a lot of feedback coming through the speaker.
Not me.
Oh, that's Henry trying to talk.
Yes, can you hear me through my phone?
We can hear you a little bit. Not very well.
Okay. Then I will try and make this.
Oh,
next.
that's louder.
Is it better now? I have my volume
Whatever
is
you're
up all
close
the way.
to.
My volume is
Whatever
up
you're
all the
close
way.
to, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, let me try this. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, Jason's my reading of this half verse where Jason is right. He did it and he thought, or he did it and he said, seems like a natural thing to me. I do have a question though about the Pa'amayim.
Mm-hmm.
What was the second time he got away?
You know, when we were reading this initially, Colton and I, we joked that because it says literally David turned from before him twice, that
Right.
maybe he did a 180 spin and then he spun again. Like he spun twice to get away from him. But we looked it up in all the translations and they all said he evaded him twice.
Right.
As if this happened, as if there were two different times that this happened.
Right. Then where's the
Yeah.
second time narrated?
I don't know that it is.
Yeah, I don't think that it is. That's one of the, in addition to all of the morphology that you did with Vayatl, which I appreciated very much, that word Pa'amayim really bothers me in this verse for that reason.
Yeah.
I don't see, unless we're supposed to assume he hurled a spear and he told David, I'll pin him to the wall. And then it doesn't say he missed, and so he picked up the spear again and threw it again.
Yeah, but maybe it's two different
Right.
instances. Maybe it's not
No,
the
could
same
be.
thing.
Could be.
But there are no like variants in the text.
Right.
I wonder, is the numbering in the Septuagint the same in this passage? Is there something that might give to us?
I don't know.
I don't know where. I think if the numbering is different, the Septuagint won't appear here as a parallel text. Yeah, so I would have to search for it. I don't really know. Okay, it is annoying. I agree. Do you want to, since your microphone's working, you want to read verse 12?
Well, I can in a second. The other thing is, I'm looking at TOS LXX MT parallel. There's nothing present here in his parallel. So I don't know that we can talk about a potential Septuagintal textual variant, but there is a Septuagintal textual variant for Vayatl, and that would take the verb from the root natal. And I don't know. I just wanted to see if you had mentioned that while I was gone.
I don't think we did.
Okay.
What
I'm looking at
passage
my
would it be in
BHS. My BHS says that the Septuagint and the Targum read.
Does it tell you what verse it's in the Septuagint text?
It's 1811.
Oh, 1811 is not very
And
good.
Kai Heren, which BDB follows and says we should read this as the root natal, and he took up the javelin.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So it takes it as natal. Okay. So
Instead of
the problem
tool.
with natal is used in the kal for picking things up,
Right.
like or raising things.
Right.
Like the Jewish tradition before you eat is to wash your hands.
Right.
You know about that from the New Testament as well. But
Right.
it's not called in Hebrew rachatzat yadayim, which is washing of hands. It's not called that. It's called nitilat yadayim, like lifting up hands.
Oh, interesting.
Because what you do is you pour the water, and the blessing that you say is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al nitilat yadayim. He commanded us about lifting up the hands, because you wash and then you lift your hands like this and you bless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So natal is used for lifting things up,
Yeah.
but normally when it's in the hifil, lehatil is still the idea of throwing it.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
They repointed to Vayatol, so they repointed as a colon perfect with a vav consecutive. That's what BDB
Okay. So But this has even in Isaiah the word lehatil as being lift up rather than throw
Okay.
in the PL.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to mention that
Lenatel.
I spent more time on that verb than I wanted to over the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to make sure it was mentioned.
Well,
Okay.
we can look real quick at the Hebrew Academy because this is what I find more, if I can get into Hebrew, what I find more authoritative. If you look at Luchot Nitiyat HaPoal, this is the verb conjugations.
Yeah.
And you can put in here Natal. No, Hebrew. Natal. And Natal is a root, and it should give you the Hifil. Okay, so that's here in Hifil in modern Hebrew. And you see that there is a dagesh in the middle. If we look in the dictionary in Morphics, it's going to tell us that with the translation that it still is. It's still. I think it's going to say it's the same.
Okay.
Til. Give us a translation, Morphics. Come on. I don't know why it's so slow. Hitil, this shows with Tet Vav Lamed, and so it doesn't give the option at all. But I'm sure that that it exists because I see people use it.
Yeah.
This one is going to tell us Hitil. And it says here with the root, it says Tet Vav Lamed, but it points it as if it's noon. And it shows two options, Hitil or Hitil. So this one is Tet Vav Lamed, and this is Nun Tet Lamed.
Right, and the consonantal
means the same
text
thing.
and the consonantal text wouldn't change.
Right.
So that's why that's why the BDB repointing and the MT pointing are both reasonable interpretations of the consonantal text.
Yeah, so it could be in the Kal instead of in the Hifil, meaning
Right.
lift it up. Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense. Okay.
On to verse
So he
12.
picked up the spear or he cast the spear,
Right.
depending on how you read it. Okay, verse 12.
So Vayera Shaul milifnei David ki haya Adonai imo umeim Shaul sar.
Mm.
And so Saul was afraid of David, for the Lord was with him, and from Saul he turned away.
And the he
Is-
turned away is who?
Is my assumption is that the he is the Lord.
So the Lord was with David, but he turned away from Saul.
He turned away from Saul.
And I like the translation of "u" as "but." It's good. How do we know that this is he was afraid and not he saw, or he appeared?
Because I don't know for sure. So this is just my instinctive response. I don't
Mhm.
think that the verb ra'ah is followed by milifnei.
Okay,
You
so that's
see
one
something,
indication.
but you don't see from before something. Whereas you are in Hebrew, you are constantly afraid before someone. So consonantally, it could be yara or ra'ah, but I think syntactically it needs to be yara.
Mm-hmm. And how
That'd
it's
be my
pointed?
guess.
How would we
It's a
read
s-
if it said he saw?
Like a Siri there, not Kamat, right?
Yeah, wouldn't that be
So there would be shva.
vayera
Be Vayar, yeah.
or vayar?
Yeah.
Right.
Vayal. Vayal. So we have a lot of forms that are made from these consonants. Vayal, he saw. Vayera. This is and he appeared. Vayera. This is nifal. He appeared.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
Vayira. Vayira, he was afraid.
It's just written defectively here, though. Can't you have Vayira with two yods as well?
Yeah, this chirik is long. It represents as if there were a second yod there. Because normally the form he will be afraid is with two yods. It's first yod. Yira. Okay? That's fun stuff.
I have a
Elena, do
question
you
about,
want to read? Oh, sorry, yeah.
so I apologize.
No.
Ome'em Shaul Sar. the word order here, it's like I expected it to say Vayasor Me'em Shaul. Is the word order is a little bit different for me. If you can kind of,
Okay.
comment on that.
So key is in a regular position because it's giving an explanation and it's heading this whole phrase, right? It heads the entire phrase.
Mhm.
So Saul was afraid before David, and this is the explanation because.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then Haya follows in the first position because it's subordinated. The verb tends to jump to first position after a subordinator,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
ki, like asher. These words especially.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the natural position for the verb. So this is in unmarked order. That's fine, right?
Mhm.
What we have in the second phrase is marked order, and the marked order is to put contrast. We see with David, but from with Saul. This is marked. This is put into first position intentionally to
Mhm.
to create a contrast where we see that God is with David, but from Saul he turned away.
Mhm.
So this
point.
is
Good
the
point.
the word order is marked, and it's a good question.
Yeah, it was a really good question because you'd expect, even if with some kind of clause marker at the beginning, for the verb to come second, but Saul comes
Mhm.
second,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
And
you.
good question.
if Jonathan had been with us tonight, he really would have enjoyed your question.
Okay.
And by front positioning, the prepositional phrase, it's both contrastive and emphatic.
Yeah, good.
Mhm.
Thank
Which
you.
was heard in my voice when I was saying it. But from Saul, yes. Elena, would you mind reading verse 13 for us, please?
ויסרהו שאול מאמו. וישימהו לו שר א' ויצא ויבוא לפני העם.
Great. Can you explain to us a little bit about what's going on with these verbs? Or what binyan? What do they mean? First translate and then give an explanation, if you would.
Okay, so and moved and removed Shaul from himself.
So where do you see he removed him? What is the him part?
who in Visereu.
Yeah, the ehu ending it goes on the futures and imperatives to mean him, right? Vayisirehu, he removed him.
And made him again the same who his
Well, it's a different root, but it looks like the same form, right? It's Vayisirehu, Vayisimehu. Like they're a nice pair, right? Okay. Vayitze vayavo lifnei ha'am.
and made him himself prince over 1,000.
Okay, so I don't know what the commander of 1,000 people would be in an army called.
I don't know.
Commander, general, legionnaire. I have no idea.
So
But he put him in charge of 1,000.
yeah, in charge of 1,000.
Heliarchus.
Vayetse, and he went out and came in before the people.
Meaning, if the people were going out to war, this is Ha'am, La Milchama, right? It's the people that fight in war. He would lead them. He would be the first one out and the first one in, meaning that he was brave. He's not like politicians today who don't get involved in military proceedings. All right, so the Vaisirehu, what binyan?
Hang on a
What
second.
binyan is it?
Jason?
Yeah.
So you're taking Ha'am at the end as referring to the army as opposed to the populace in general?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can buy that, because later on when it talks about his return and the Saul has killed his thousands and David's killed his tens of thousands, I have I have preferred to read Ha'am as going out before the people who are cheering on the army as they leave, and
Mhm.
coming back before the people being cheered on as they return victoriously. I am not
It
100%
could
sure
very
that
well
I
be
think.
because the idea also could be that when military victors return to the city, the people go out to meet them to bring them back into the city. So you could very well be
Yeah.
right. And in verse 16, it seems to probably agree with that
Yeah.
because it says
Okay.
"V'chol Yisrael v'Yehuda," all Israel and Judah, and then it says that he would come out and go
Right.
in before them. So
Okay.
you're probably right. But I mean, I would also read it probably as he goes out before the army. He's a brave man. He's not hanging out in the back. Anyway, what's the binyan of
Yeah, and,
Vayasir?
and probably the army was there, not all the people, because it was kind of time of war. I don't know. So, well, okay. So it is Hefil. It is Vayiktol.
Mm-hmm.
And the root is Samech Vav Resh. And it is third masculine singular.
Mm-hmm.
With the suffix also third masculine singular,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Great. Let's
So
look at
same
how the
thing.
word is formed real quick because it is definitely interesting. Okay, so we've got the root you said is like sur. Where was the last time that we saw the word sur in the passage?
The verse
In the
before.
previous verse.
Sorry.
Right. So there we see sar, which is the kal. The kal, perfect, the past tense, which is what we're going to be doing in the next session, by the way. We're doing kal perfect in the,
Or the participle.
binyan kal. Yeah, but in this case, it needs to be past. So sur is the root. When we go into the hifil, we're going to add, as if it were hasur, hisur. Okay, we would like it to be this, right? But this is not what happens with middle week. That's how we would construct the root. We instead make the middle week vowel into an actual vowel. And in this case, instead of he, we're going to say hey, hesir, because this is, there's nothing for it to latch on to. The syllable is not closed. There's compensatory lengthening. Hesir. Hesir means he took off, he removed. It can be you removed your clothes. It can be you removed somebody from your presence, like we see here. Okay. When we go into the future, we're going to add our ya and the hesir, right? The intervocalic hey drops out. It's ya. Yasir, and we have an open compensatory lengthened syllable. Yasir. Yasir, right? So Vav consecutive builds on that. Vayasir. It would become Vayaser because in the Vav consecutive it goes into the jussive form, which could be Vayaser or Vayaser. Right? And then the Ehu is him. Anytime you put Ehu, you go back to that original E vowel. Vayasirehu, and this syllable right there is now reduced because it's distant, right? Because the stress is here. And once it's reduced, then also we have the case of the Skinim Levi with the yod dropping the doubling. Vayisirehu, and this is hifil, right? We said it's hifil. All right, so let's look at the next verse, the next verb. Vayisimehu.
Vayasimehu. Same thing. Oh, that's a kal. It's kal.
This is kal.
But it is
Okay,
Vayiktol.
exactly. So this is kal. So what's the difference? The kal future of sim is yasim. Right? Yasim. And when we get to yasim, come on, give me my letters. My keyboard sticks nowadays. Yasim is exactly like yasir in sound, in the shape of it, even though one is hifil and one is kal. Yeah. So it looks exactly the same. What's that? I heard somebody commenting.
That is very interesting that the hifil of sur and the call of seam are pointed the same way.
Exactly.
I find that fascinating.
So we have here the reduction of the vowel and making so it's exactly the same. Vaisirehu, he removed him. Vaisimehu, kal, he placed him or made him. That's why I wanted to call it up on screen so we could look at that and go back to reading. It's really nice, very nice. Okay, so who will be our next reader for verse 14?
I'll take it.
James, have you read?
No.
Okay.
All right. We're on 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. ויהי דוד לכל דרכיו משכיל ואדוני עמו. So, and it came about David to all of his ways he prospered. Adonai was with him. Prospering, that's a participle. So yeah, probably just prospers.
Could be prosper, could be success, like successful, could be wise in another sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So it came to pass that David was successful in all his ways, or prosperous in all his ways.
Why wouldn't
Lechol drachav. What's that?
wouldn't it be more natural just to read Maskil with Vayihi?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And David was successful. Lekol Darkav.
It's true. It is true, but we are having a change of story. Like the Vayhi is a narrative marker.
A discourse mark, yeah.
Yeah. So it has it's telling us Vayhi is like bringing us into a new setting.
Well, why couldn't it be continuing the narrative from verse 13? He went out. He made him over as prince.
Vayaskel David lechol drachav. Why not Vayaskel?
He made him prince, and David was successful everywhere he went.
Yeah, that set it up. That set it up where he set him up as the leader of the 1,000.
Right.
And then we have two indications that we're switching it up a bit. That is the Vayihi and this space, which is the Parashas Tuma.
I'm sorry, say that. The what?
Parashas Tuma. It's a break in the text.
Oh, the pay at the end of verse 13. Okay. Sorry, I didn't notice that.
Here and the Samach is here.
No, you're right. I didn't notice that. So sorry about the question.
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
So Vadonai Imo, I look at as a call as for God is with him, not and God was with him. Like Levav here, it's like more of what's that called? No causative, like it's for or because God is with him, not and God was with him. Do you understand that way or differently?
Well, that just goes back to verse 12, right? So I would agree that conjunction is not a narrative conjunction on Vadonai Imo, because they've already stated in verse 12, Ki Haya Adonai Imo.
He's given a reason why God was
Right.
was successful.
No, that's exactly how I would read it. That 14b is the reason he was successful, as opposed to just being a continuation of the narrative, because they already said in verse 12 that the Lord was with him. That's not new information.
Any comments, Jason?
I just think that the Maskil Lechol Drachav and the Adonai Imo is just describing David's situation at that point.
Not explaining why he's successful.
Yeah, it's like, and it came to pass, David was prosperous and the Lord was with him.
Well, how
Like,
is
it
it,
seems
how is it
that-
translated in English? Is it "and the Lord was him" or "for Lord with them"? And I should have looked at the English translation, Dub translation.
We're in 14.
So to talk too
David
much.
had success in all his undertakings, for the Lord was with him.
For.
They do establish a for relationship in the NRSV. Mhm. This is the Lexem English. David was
Mhm.
achieving success in all his ways, and the Lord is with
Mhm.
him.
It can go both ways. It makes to me "for" or "because" more sense. Obviously, I don't know, but
Here they render it as for, and they
For,
put a note saying, see verse 12 above. This is the English Standard.
And the JPS Tanakh, which is normally the translation I use when I'm reading the Hebrew Bible, translates "for the Lord was with him" and provides no comment or footnote to it.
Yeah,
But
the
the connection with
Christian
verse 12
Standard says because.
because. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, great.
Sorry about
Okay.
that.
No problem.
Number
Verse 15.
15.
Who was supposed to read now?
I think it's my turn.
All right.
Vayar Sheol Asher Hu Maskil Me'od Vayagor Mifanav.
Yeah.
And
Vayago. Vayago.
Vayagor Mifanav.
Mhm.
Saul became afraid since
No, this
for
isn't afraid.
and he recognized and saw
Yeah.
saw I'm sorry, I apologize about that. I should not do this mistake actually. That David was successful a lot or plenty.
Yeah.
And
Very
he
successful, very prosperous.
and became afraid from his presence or from him.
Yeah, we
From,
often use fear words and we say from his face,
Mhm.
but it just means of. We would say in English, he became afraid of him. He was afraid of him.
Mhm.
Some people might be a bit confused by two things in the verse. Number one is the use of asher instead of ki.
Right.
Mm.
Good
Mm.
point.
Because ki is normally vayar ki tov. Remember, God saw that it was good.
Mm.
Normally,
Mhm.
after vayar, you see ki as a subordinator, but sometimes asher is used exactly like ki. And this happens a lot in the book of Kohelet, the
Oh,
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We read Kohelet together. You know that happens.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, indeed. And this word vayagol looks exactly like the word living or dwelling. Lagur is to live, to sojourn. Remember with Abraham, we talked about Eretz Migurav, the land of his sojournings. So gur is normally, we take it as to live or to dwell, to sojourn. But the exact same root, lagur, and it's the same forms, tagur, you will fear, but it looks exactly the same and it means to be afraid. So really good, really good. By the way, in modern Hebrew, we use gur as a pup or a cub, like a little one of the animals. Like gur klavim is a little puppy, a pup of the dogs. We also say for a puppy, we say klavlav from Kelev. But anyway, gur means something else. It's also a kind of Judaism, gur yadut. It's very anti-Zionist.
So Jason, if it matters, HALOT actually lists cub of a dog as gur
Ah,
one,
really?
as gur one, and cites Genesis
Wow.
49, Deuteronomy 33, Ezekiel 19, and Nahum 2 as places where that idiom shows up in the Masoretic text. And the Dictionary of Classical Hebrew does the same thing. Gur one is a cub. And that would not have been my first instinct, but they both agree with you on that.
Well, see, these things just come out of me sometimes. Very nice. So verse 16, has everybody had a chance? We should have one more reader. Who's the one who hasn't read?
It's you.
I didn't
You
read
have
it?
not. No, you did not.
Oh, well, Look at me being selfless. וכל ישראל ויהודה אוהב את דוד, כי הוא יוצא ובא לפניהם. I would still probably read this as a military thing. All Israel and Judah loves David. It's a participle. It's not saying the past tense, present tense, future tense. It's giving the state of the situation that it's describing. All Israel and Judah love David because he goes out and comes in before them. Again, before the people. I would still think that it's referring to the army. I don't know. I feel like it's referring to the army. When it says all Israel and Judah, it could very well be referring to the men of Israel and Judah that are part of the standing army.
Write a paper on it then. And get it published somewhere.
I'm writing a paper right now. I'm in the middle of writing a paper against Nehemiah Gordon.
I have a difficulty with this verse, Jason, especially
What's that?
Kihu, as if he's explaining why they love him, but doesn't make sense why they love him. Like, what do you mean they love him because he goes in and out in front of them? It doesn't add up unless I'm missing something.
Why not? It means
I mean,
he's a big warrior, a big fighter. He goes out and comes in before the people.
Like a show business or something? I don't know.
Oh no,
I don't know.
like a warrior.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you're not a good warrior, you don't come back.
Okay.
But if you can think in terms of like the play Julius Caesar, and you can see Caesar leading the people, and like everywhere he goes, the people follow him, right? He goes out, they follow him. He comes in, they follow him. He's always in front of the people. They always follow behind him.
And I'd refer you back to verse 7, where it says, and the women were dancing and singing and saying, Saul has killed his thousands and David his tens of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
So the going in and coming out is something is not new. The position as the leader of the 1,000 is new, but the going out, the coming in, the killing all of Israel's enemies on David's behalf is not something that is new according to the narrative order of this chapter.
Yeah.
So if the women are singing and dancing and saying, Saul has killed his thousands and David his tens of thousands, I think that's another reason why Ha'am has to be the people in general and not simply the army. There wouldn't have been women in that army. Unless you're talking about JL and Judges 4.
It's true.
But that's okay. We can disagree.
It's a very common expression in Hebrew. Vayitze lemilchama, latzet lemilchama, to go out to the war. It actually happens a lot. And so because of that, I tend to feel the word latzet connected to it, like naturally. La milchama. Like most of the time when you say, milchama, when you find milchama, you will normally see latzet. This is interesting. V'chol amo lemilchama edrei. So all of his people. It often will use people as the ones going to war as well.
Right.
So when it says he's before the people, like it just the two of the things together. And here we have ba'im lemilchama. So latzet ve'lavo yavo lemilchama.
What chapter are you in?
Oh, I'm just
Are you just scanning? Oh, okay. All right.
This is Numbers 32:6.
Oh, yeah. You know more about that than I do. So okay.
But it's so common to use latzet. This is vayetze sichon likratenu, hu v'chol amo lemilchama yatsa. So we've got latzet lemilchama.
Yeah.
Like you just keep searching for lemilchama, and you'll constantly find latzet ki tetze lemilchama al oivecha, when you go to war against your enemy. It's just so common. that it feels that that's what it's talking about. To me, anyway.
And you could be right. You know, I want to admit, I don't know everything about Hebrew, and you could be right. I'm not certain that's the right reading here. That's all.
There isn't a lot special here to point out grammatically. V'chol Yisrael v'Yehuda. Just notice that V'Yehuda is Ve'Yehuda. With the two shvas together, it becomes V. And that's something I'm going to bring up in my paper against Nehemiah Gordon. I'm right now on page like 15, and I'm still in the introduction.
I'd like, if you're willing to, is it going to be written in English or in Hebrew?
In English, with a lot of reference to Hebrew. So.
If you're open to me scanning it before you send it in, I'd like to look at it. Gordon and I don't always agree eye to eye on everything he says.
Yeah, I'd appreciate any feedback I can get. So who was the first to read?
It was me.
All right, do you want to read 17?
Sure. ויאמר שאול אל דוד, הנה ביתי הגדולה מירב אותה אתן לך לאישה.
Okay, so hold on just a second. Mirav, stop. And then this goes together. הנה ביתי הגדולה מירב.
Yeah, my bad.
אותה אתן לך לאישה.
Yeah. הנה ביתי הגדולה מירב, אותה אתן לך לאישה. אך היה לי לבן חיל, והילחם מלחמות אדוני, ושאול אמר, אל תהי ידי בו, ותהי בו יד פלשתים.
Okay, so here we have another example of Saul thinking to himself, giving him, attributing the intention of what he had just done. So it said he threw the spear and he said, I will impale him to the wall. And here he says, here, take my daughter. And then his intention, V'sha'al Amar, and he said his intention, Al tihi yadiv bo, utihi vo yad plishtim. This is the intention that he's when he's telling him, fight the wars of God, right? All right, Colton, give it a translate, if you would.
Sure. Saul said to David, behold, my oldest daughter, Merav, her I shall give to you for a wife, but be for me a strong man, and fight the battles of the Lord. And Saul said, so that not by my hand, so that not that my hand be against him, but the hand of the Philistines.
Yeah.
Be against
Which
him.
means that his intention in telling him, be a good boy of valor and fight God's wars, his intention wasn't really, go out and win victory for Israel and for God, but rather, if you go out and fight the Philistines, then you're going to die. And then I don't have to do the dirty work of killing you.
Mm-hmm. David learned it from someone. And, that's
yes.
all, with Uriah, David, he learned it from someone because he had it done to him.
Yeah.
Is Leven Chayil is a specific term, or
Ben Chayil calls to mind. First of all, Chayil is several. It's a very difficult word to get your head around, right? Because Chayil can refer to wealth. Like if you have wealth, then you have power, and that's the idea, that it's connected to power.
Can also refer to an army.
It can be an army.
And so if we take the idea of the B'nai Nevi'im, the sons of the prophets, being somebody who's of this kind of trade or whatever, this kind of school. So become a son of war, or son of the army, take up the cause.
It calls to mind Proverbs, what chapter 30 of Proverbs, 32, I don't remember, but it's Eshet Chayil,
31.
A woman of valor, 31. Between this one and that one. Ben Chayil, Eshet Chayil, a son of valor, a woman of valor. In the case of a woman of valor, it means one who is faithful and manages the home and all of the things that are listed there. In the case of a son of valor, it means, first of all, it's two things. he's saying, I'm going to give you my daughter, so you're going to become my son. So, but what kind of son do I want? I want a son of valor, a son who is brave, a son who will go out and fight the wars of God. Yeah.
Is Vin Chayil, I should have done my homework before talking, but is Vin Chayil been used before for this first
I
occurrence
don't.
for
I don't
us?
recall it being used elsewhere, but
Okay.
that doesn't mean it isn't. You can
I
definitely.
I can
search
do
for
a
that.
quick search for it. Give me a
'Cause
minute.
I remember
Yeah.
Eshet Chayil used once, but okay.
Regarding, there was something else about this. Chayil. Chayil also is related to Chayal in modern Hebrew, meaning a soldier. Chayal is a soldier, where the yod is doubled. Chayal. And when you talk about the different branches of the military, you call them Chayil, but in the construct, which is Chel. So Chel Avir is the army of the air. It's Air Force. Chel Avir. Chel Yam is the one in the sea. Navy. Chel Yam is Navy. This is what you call it in modern Hebrew. So definitely relevant.
So that phrase Ben Chayil also occurs in 1 Samuel 14:52. And
In what
2
context?
In 2 Samuel 17:10. In 1 Samuel 14:52, the NRSV says, there was hard fighting against the Philistines all the days of Saul. And when Saul saw any strong or valiant warrior, he took him into his service. So I'm assuming it's the strong or valiant warrior part.
Great.
And then in 2 Samuel 17:10, it says, then even the valiant warrior whose heart is like the heart of a lion will utterly melt with fear. So
All
again,
right, so that makes good sense. But be for me a valiant warrior and fight the wars of God.
Thank you. That's great. Yeah, thanks.
The other comment I want to make about that is I think that the adverb ach here is being emphatic and not contrastive. So I
So
give
instead of
her
but,
to you as the wife in order
now.
that, or so that you can be for me a son of valor. So I'm not hearing, I thought I heard the translation but when it was first done, but I think it's got to be some type of an emphatic construction.
Maybe like an indeed or now.
Yeah, something like that.
I will give her to you for a wife. Now be for me a fighting man. Okay.
Something like that.
Sounds good. We are
Yeah,
out
it
of
probably makes more
time.
sense. I just went with like the first gloss in my head. Good.
No,
catch.
it's okay. It's okay.
We're out of time, so we are going to continue with grammar in the next session. We are in lesson 13 of Show's grammar. We're going to start our introduction to the verbal system in Hebrew. Yay!
That was a great discussion. I really loved it. I hope I didn't interrupt too much, but I enjoyed this reading conversation. Just kind of discuss the analysis of verse. That's a beautiful thing.
I
Thank
think
you.
this was wonderful. I really enjoyed this session.
Yeah.
You guys are
It's
wonderful.
nice to have so
I
many people on the
appreciate
stage
you.
again.
Yeah.
Indeed. We had so
That's
many with
good.
us today.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so we will catch you guys next week.
Okay. Thank
And
you
if you're
again.
not with,
Thanks,
if you're not
everybody.
with us in the next session for grammar.
All righty.
See
Bye now.
you.